Hi, and welcome back to another video. And today I'll once again be talking about President Trump's approval rating and now how it's sunk to historic lows. As you can see here, his approval rating today has dropped down to just 3%. It has never been this low so far in his second term on his approval rating. It has never been this low. Sure, it has gone down from 5% and 4%. The lowest it went, I believe, was yesterday, 4.6. I don't think it went lower than that. And the highest we've seen it go was about at 8%. It was at 8% in the start of his first week, right? It was at he even reached 50%, which he was never able to do in his first term. So he is actually, still popular right now, but obviously his approval rating has gone down much lower since then, and it also has dropped to 48%, and his disapprove is now at 45, previously at 44, and when we started here, we were only at 41. So now it has gone. His disapproval rating has gone up by 4 points since the start of his presidency, and his approval has dropped by about almost 2 points now, which really isn't that bad when you look at it. However, former President Biden had a much better approval rating. Um, when this loads, at this time he actually did have a much better approval rating, I believe. If we go back, I've showed this to you guys before. But today is February 11th, or February 11th, and President Biden, right? He had under 20%. He had 18, 17, and he had a 54% approval rating to around 37 disapproval rating. Now, this is when his disapproval rating jumped up a little bit, and this is before his approval rating, completely collapsed. But yeah, you are seeing something completely different when you compare it to Donald Trump's second term. Donald Trump being there way less popular than Joe Biden was around this time 4 years ago, but still, still a popular president. However, his approval rating, still is narrowing, and his disapproval rating seems to be catching up here. And it's going in the wrong direction. You do not want that to go in that direction. So we've gotten some polls here today where you can see here, I can even do shorter holes, where most of these have been approval. Right in the beginning, you had plus 18, you had even, you had approval plus 4, plus 8, plus 4, plus 15, and then you had our first disapproval rating, with disapproval led the approval, with disapproval plus 1, but that was enough. You still had approval plus 8, plus 3, plus 6, plus 4, and then you had another disapproval plus 1. Still, it's still, it's from a Gallup poll. Nothing, nothing to be concerned about. And then you had approval plus 9, plus 7, plus 5, plus 10, plus 6, plus 2, plus 7, plus 2, plus 1, plus 5, and then you had disapproval plus 4 from the Pew Research that came out in early of this month. And it's interesting when you go to, these first couple of polls, when, you have it over double digits, but it slowly goes down to plus 4, plus 8, plus 4, plus 15. It doesn't even get double digits anymore. It gets single digits, and now it's down to around a 1 to 3, which shows his approval rating just narrowing. Yeah, the disapproval plus 4. But anyways, you had, even after the disapproval plus 4, you still had his approval rating. Still getting good numbers here: plus 6, plus 6, plus 1, plus 5, plus 2, plus 9, plus 2, the disapproval plus 2, an approval plus 2, and then you had all these polls, right, came out. These actually came out today. This disapprove plus 2 or plus 4, and then you had plus 2 approval, and then you had these two polls that came out today from YouGov, which showed President Trump having a very unpopular rating here, with him having a 48% disapproval and a 46% approval in this one, and then you had his approval at 47 and Trump's disapproval at 49 in this one. So obviously not good for the sitting United States president, where now you see in these YouGov polls where YouGov is actually a B-rated pollster showing these very negative numbers for Donald Trump's approval rating. And because these were added, Donald Trump's approval rating went from yesterday, it was at 4.6, right? Donald Trump had a 49% approval rating, 44, and now you add these polls, right? Do that. His approval rating drops to 48.9%, and his disapproval is at 45.6. Now we are also seeing the same thing on Real Clear Politics, where even though I have mentioned that Real Clear Politics has some pollsters on here that are very Republican favored, that are very right leaning, and could cause some inaccurate numbers. Despite that, you have Trafalgar and you have Rasmussen. Despite that, you still have some good pollsters on here. You have YouGov, B-rated poll. You have Tip. You have Emerson. Um, you have Reuters. You have the Gallup. You have Atlas, an A-rated poll. So you still have some good ones, despite having some Republican-favored ones. So that can, outnumber those. But you have them currently having Donald Trump's approval at 2.6, where his approval is at 48.7, and his disapproval is at 46.1. Now, this is quite different from, his approval from which I showed you guys about a couple days ago or a week ago. Obviously, I cannot go back in the past here and show you guys because Real Clear Politics does not have a graph yet. But when they do, it'll be very interesting to, see how it goes. I use 538 a lot because they do have a graph. And, you could go back and say, oh, see, President Trump had a much more better approval rating than compared to right now where his disapproval is spiking. And you could see that. Like, it goes from 44 to now 45.6. So I can't do that in Real Clear Politics, which is why I use 538 so much more. But yeah. So you see Real Clear Politics has also added this YouGov -2 approval rating poll, which puts his approval at 2.6. And you could also rank this by pollsters. Like if you wanted to do one of these Republican favorite polls I was talking about, like let's say Trafalgar. Trafalgar hasn't released much polls. They only did one, but when they did, it gave Trump a approval of +9. And this was in the early of this month. This is why I do believe that this is a little inaccurate, and a little bit too much. I do believe that if they did a poll, it probably would be a little lower than that, but still in the positive numbers, still giving President Trump a positive numbers. And then you go to Rasmussen, right? Another Republican favored one, which has around the same thing for the early of this month, which, I also believe is a little inaccurate. I do believe it to be a lower, but still being in the positive numbers for President Trump. Let's go to YouGov here, which actually, put out that -2 poll for today. So you have, them doing this -2. So President Trump is now in negative numbers for the YouGov poll. We'll see what happens if they do another one, and maybe his approval bounces back, or it gets even worse. But you see, Trump in late of January, he had a +4 approval on the YouGov poll. Then they did another one about earlier this month, and it dropped down to 1. And now they did one today, and it has dropped down to -2. So obviously, this is not going in the right direction when it comes down to the YouGov poll for President Trump's approval numbers. And we're going to see if this develops, more with these other polls. I could pull up some other ones. Let's see CBS News. So CBS News still has one poll where it has President Trump +6 favorably. They did it in the early of this month. Let's see what else we have. Let's see, Emerson College +8. Atlas Intel A+ rating. They have it at a tie, so that's their answer. So they have, but that was early. That was late in January, in a couple days when President Trump took office. So we're also going to have to wait for Atlas to do another, approval rating poll, and we see Insider Advantage +17. That was on the inauguration day. So yeah, we still have a lot of these pollsters to release more of these polls in Trump's approval rating. To really get a bigger picture to see where it's at, and I honestly can't wait for that. But yeah, Real Clear Politics has Trump's approval rating at 2.6. 538 has it at 3.3, which is actually higher than Real Clear Politics. Even 538 adding more of these negative number approval rating polls than Real Clear Politics. So I think that's interesting. But yeah, Real Clear Politics says 2.6. 538 has it at 3.3. President Trump's approval rating numbers are going in the wrong direction, and we are going to see if they bounce back from this, or if they do drop in the negative numbers, like I have predicted they will be in the negative numbers by the time Trump's State of the Union address arrives here, which I believe is sometime in early March. I don't remember the exact date, but I do believe they'll be in the negative numbers when we get into March. I could be wrong, but it looks like my prediction, could hold with the way Donald Trump's approval is starting to sink. Yeah, but we will see if it develops, if it bounces back. If it doesn't, we will see. But anyways, that is it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.